if you've been on the channel for a while, you know that I'm a gigantic Miami Heat fan, if the humongous amount of videos I've made on them isn't proof enough. But if you're on this team and you're a player that helps this team win, if I feel like you're being unnecessarily slandered, I will be making videos telling people why. And the past couple of years, Tyler Herro has been on the forefront of that slander. And like I said, I've made more than enough videos debunking all the things that have been said about Tyler Herro. And I mean all of them. If you want to see most of them, they're in this playlist right here. I'll put the card right here. But in doing so this season, I also said that Tyler Herro will be having a breakout year, and what do you know, he did. So today, we're going to be talking about how Tyler Herro went from the supposed bubble boy to an NBA 6th Man of the Year and what should have been an all-star this year. Let's go. Well, before we get started, let's have a word from our sponsors today, SeatGeek. Now, SeatGeek is a ticket app that takes all the confusion out of buying tickets. You have an event you want to go to, but they're sold out? Not anymore. Just go on SeatGeek and type in the event that you want to go to, and they show you all the tickets available, and they rate them from a score from 0 to 10. 0 being a bad deal, and 10 being in the green, which is a good deal. And today, if you use my code FLB at checkout, you get 20% off your first ticket. With the NBA playoffs here and a lot of games being sold out, I highly suggest that you do take advantage of that and use SeatGeek to get a ticket to see your favorite team play. I just used it. I'm going to go see the Miami Heat Game 2 game against the Atlanta Hawks. But with that being said, thank you for SeatGeek for sponsoring.
My homeboy Tyler, he playing South Beach. He told me this summer he gonna fix my jumper. I told Boy Wonder that we might got a thumper. I've been trying to put
Now, coming in the NBA at the 13th pick, Tyler Herro was noted to be picked a little bit too high. A lot of people didn't expect him to go in the lottery at the time, or if anything, at the 13th pick to the Miami Heat, since they just picked up Jimmy Butler and they had plenty of guard play on the team. But with that being said, going to the Miami Heat, Tyler Herro, after an amazing summer league where he broke out and showed an amazing ability to score and a little bit of ability to play make and also just being a great shooter, the Miami Heat had a nice rotation player and a rookie that they could develop. And in doing so in the regular season, Tyler Herro had a pretty nice season, averaging 13.5 points, 4.1 rebounds, 2.2 assists on 43, 39, 87 splits. Some pretty nice numbers, but after a pretty nice rookie year, the season was subsequently cut short because of the vid.
You are 20 years old. Do you know that only one other man in NBA history has scored the points you have at this age in a playoff game?
In those 6 months that the entire league had off, the Miami Heat were not a team that used that as vacation time. They used that as a time to get better throughout the entire year, and as the bubble was announced, we saw why that was important for teams to use, as the Miami Heat were one of the more prepared teams and one of the better teams in the bubble. And Tyler Herro was a player that really benefited from having those 6 months off because he showed an insane level of accelerated ability going into the playoffs, where he was pretty much relegated as a shooter in the regular season that can, get a bucket here and there. He improved as not only an off-ball scorer, but as a playmaker going into the bubble. And in the entire playoffs, he averaged 16 points per game, 5.1 rebounds, 3.7 assists on 43, 37, 87 splits. And with each series, he just continued to get better and better. The Indiana Pacers series, he averaged 16.5 points. Then the Milwaukee Bucks series, while he went down to 13.2 points, his playmaking went up. And overall, that was a series that was truly meant for Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo to dominate. But then the Eastern Conference Finals happened, and he had a 38-point outburst against the Boston Celtics in Game 3. And that was the game that made a lot of people think that this could be the next big star in the NBA. You don't see a lot of young players going to the playoffs like in this season. And you don't see a lot of them going to the Eastern Conference Finals and dropping nearly 40 points. And then going to the NBA Finals, while a lot of people didn't see the Miami Heat as contenders really there, it was almost a foregone conclusion that the Los Angeles Lakers were probably going to win that series. And even then, the Miami Heat still put up a very good fight. The series was 4-2, and Tyler Herro averaged 15 points per game, 4.2 rebounds, 3 assists on 37, 37, 81 splits. Not the greatest shooting efficiency, but against one of the best defenses in the NBA, the Miami Heat still were able to put up a pretty good fight while missing out on their top scorer and their best defender in Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic for a couple games in the NBA Finals. But as the NBA bubble ended, the Miami Heat were notified that they only had 2 months of rest going to the next year because the NBA was trying to stay on schedule to have the NBA season feel as normal as possible. And with that being said, the Miami Heat just went through a grueling 3 months in the NBA bubble where they had a game every other day and all the way to the NBA Finals. You expect them to come out a little bit tired next year, and the Miami Heat just didn't look the same. While they were the 6th seed and made the NBA playoffs, throughout the entire year, they weren't looking right. There was a lot of injuries. Everybody was missing time. Tyler Herro especially. He was started the NBA season as a starter on the team, and he had some pretty good production. But then he got relegated back to the bench because he wasn't really performing as good as you expected him to. And then later in the year, he picked it up a little bit, and his averages went up across the board. From 13.5 points per game in his rookie year to 15.1, from 4 rebounds to 5 rebounds, from 2.2 assists to 3.4 assists, and his shooting efficiency went up from field goals wise. Went from 3, it was a little bit of a dip. Overall, he was basically the same player you saw in the bubble, which you expect because he only had 2 months of rest. Well, 1 month of rest and then preparing for the next season with training camp. You can't expect him to have an entire offseason where he got better. You saw how much better he got when he had a full 6 months to work on his game from his regular rookie year all the way to the bubble. So I don't know why a lot of people saw that as a knock against him, or that he just wasn't going to be, I guess, as good as he was supposed to. But coming to this season, Tyler Herro had a chip on his shoulder. He had a lot to prove. And coming out, he did just that the moment he stepped on the damn court. After the Miami Heat came out showing that they meant business with a 42-point W against a team that virtually knocked them out in the first round the year before, Tyler Herro dropped 27 points, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on 10 for 18 shooting and 4 for 8 from 3 in the first game of the season to prove that he was here to make a point. In the next game, he then dropped a 30-point bomb on Indiana with the team having some injuries on the roster. And as the season went on, Tyler Herro continued to show why he's one of the best players in the NBA, with highlight games like his 33 against Phoenix with Bam Adebayo and Jimmy Butler out. We beat them by 26 points, and Tyler Herro scored 33 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 steals on 12 for 20 shooting and 3 for 4 from 3. That was the best team in the NBA. And as the season went on, Tyler Herro continued to prove why it was just a foregone conclusion that he was the 6th Man of the Year award. At this point, you might as well just etch his name into the award by about March. But as the season went on, Tyler Herro had 9 30-point games and 28 games above 20 points per game. And those were not just empty numbers, because in those games that he scored at least 20 points or more, the Miami Heat were 28-9. He was giving buckets to some of the best teams in the NBA on a consistent basis, from Phoenix to Milwaukee to Utah to Brooklyn to Toronto to Memphis to Cleveland. Every single one of them was catching some of Tyler Herro. Pause. And as you're watching throughout the entire year, not only did he improve as a scorer, but he improved as a playmaker, because in games that Tyler Herro had at least 5 assists or more, the Miami Heat were 16-4, adding more dimensions to this game and becoming a playmaker and a scorer off the bench with more responsibilities from this team, and basically being the spark that this team always needed, and finishing games, sometimes being this team's closer. And while his frame does make it difficult for him on the defensive end at times, this season he put in a lot of effort on that end, and you couldn't just hunt him out in the pick and roll all the damn time, because you were not going to get an easy bucket. He definitely became a better defender this year. And as you ended the season, in the 66 games the Miami Heat played with Tyler Herro, they went 44-22. And without him this season, the Miami Heat went a mediocre 9-7, showing that he is not only a large part of why this team's won so many games this year, but he's an integral part of this team's culture, and he's internalized every single person that doubted him and improved his game to an amazing level. And it also shows that he's not just a talker. Throughout the entire year, he was making comments why he deserves to be in the conversation with guys like Trae Young, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards, and those young guys in the NBA are making statements of him hearing the noise and he's ready to prove people wrong. And at every single turn this season, he did just that. So that is how Tyler Herro went from the notorious bubble boy to the 6th Man of the Year, one of the best young players in the NBA, and an integral part to a #1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and to a team that probably has a very good chance of making the NBA Finals. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I've been trying to go daily, making a bunch of content on the NBA playoffs. I make content on the Miami Heat every single game, so if you do want to watch that, this is the last video I made on game 2. But with that being said, it's FLB. That's my time, and I'm out.